Again, I want to begin by saying, of course, good morning, but that principally that I'm pleased to be here with Assembly Member Lorena Gonzalez. We're in her district, and it is a thrill to be here with her in San Diego. And I want to make sure I introduce the other folks who are with us as well, because they are colleagues at the Department of Justice. Let me begin by introducing John Marsh, who is the Assistant Chief of the Division of Law Enforcement, Chris Calgieri, who is the Director of Bureau of Investigations, Jim Biscaluz, who is a Special Agent in charge, Susan, and she goes by Susie Gorsuch, a Special Agent Supervisor, Sean Collins, one of our Special Agent Supervisors as well, Paul Ramirez, who is a Special Agent, Leo Rodriguez, who is a Special Agent, and Jake Svoboda, who is also a Special Agent. I want to thank them because they're really the folks that we're here to talk about, the work that they do and the success that they have had. We're here at the Port of San Diego because it generates billions of dollars of revenue for the California economy every year. But here in San Diego and elsewhere around the state, there's more going on in our economy than meets the eye. There's a vast underground economy of businesses that are operating outside the law. In California, the underground economy is estimated to account for something between $60 to $140 billion in business annually. It costs taxpayers $8.5 billion in uncollected taxes each year alone. This has consequences for all Californians who play by the rules, whether you're a hardworking employee or an upstanding business owner or a taxpayer who pays your fair share. If you play by the rules and help power our state's economy, which is the 5th largest economy, by the way, in the world, then you deserve a chance to get ahead. Today, I think because of all those things, I think it goes without saying, I am pleased to stand here with Assembly Member Lorena Gonzalez to announce a measure that establishes in law a program that protects your chance to get ahead. It's the Tax Recovery in the Underground Economy, or the TRUE program. And behind me you see members of the TRUE team. AB 1296, which Assemblymember Gonzalez has introduced, would create a permanent infrastructure within the Department of Justice to carry on important work we've already done to combat the underground economy. Back in 2014, several state agencies joined forces to fight egregious felony-level crimes in the underground economy throughout our state. Our core partners are the Department of Tax and Fee Administration, the Franchise Tax Board, and the Employment Development Department. We work with colleagues from other states and federal agencies as well, such as the Internal Revenue Service. Together, we leverage our expertise and pool our investigative resources to protect Californians who play by the rules. And this partnership has yielded results. By the end of last year, our teams had identified over $482 million in unreported gross receipts and more than $60 million in associated tax loss to the state. Additionally, our criminal enforcement actions, through these actions, we have recovered over $25 million in lost tax revenue, victim restitution, and investigative costs. With many investigations ongoing, we expect these totals to rise as our teams identify even more tax losses. And we've done it all at no net cost to the taxpayer. And that's because this work generates revenue for the state of California. That's because we recover unpaid taxes from underground businesses, and we often recover unpaid wages and benefits for cheated workers. The TRUE bill we're proposing today will anchor and strengthen the teams we have in Sacramento and in Los Angeles and build new ones right here in San Diego, the San Francisco Bay Area, and in Fresno. This will allow our teams to more effectively fight underground economy crimes throughout the entire state. The need is especially acute here in San Diego and in the Bay Area because ports are hotspots for the movement of goods in the underground economy. It will go a long way in helping our state fund vital programs and help protect the rights of hardworking Californians, employees and business owners alike who play by the rules. It will also help us hold accountable those who don't play by the rules. Take the owners and operators of the Bay Area business Rainbow Bright, Until last year, Rainbow Bright operated 4 adult residential care facilities and 2 child care centers in the Bay Area. Former Rainbow Bright employees tipped us off that the company was cheating them out of pay and worker compensation insurance. Our investigation discovered more and more violations beyond what the employees told us, not just of the workers' rights, but of human rights. All told, we have filed 72 charges against Rainbow Bright and its operators, including grand theft of employees' wages, human trafficking, using physical force, sexual violence, fraud, and psychological coercion against the very employees that were doing the work and who became the victims. And one defendant has been charged with 3 counts of rape against a female employee whom he was trafficking. Rainbow Bright was just the latest in many critical underground economy cases. Our team went after Jong Kim, who owned and operated over 50 retail clothing stores throughout Southern California. From 2010 to 2016, he failed to report some $29 million in sales, $39 million in taxable income, and $8 million in wages. We filed a 54 felony complaint in Superior Court in Los Angeles against Mr. Kim. He pleaded guilty to tax evasion, filing false tax returns, and worker compensation fraud, and he admitted to white-collar crime enhancements. He paid the state of California $7.6 million in restitution for tax liability, interest, and the cost of investigation, and he has served a 2-year prison sentence. And just this past December of 2017, our teams collaboratively worked to lead in the seizure of illegal pharmaceuticals. Those are drugs that are not approved by the FDA. Those drugs were being sold in Sacramento, and we arrested the operators of that scheme. But we're just getting started. The True Bill will help us continue this essential work on behalf of all Californians who power our economy. AB 1296 is a win-win for Californians who play by the rules. And that's why it gives me great pleasure to be standing next to the champion for this legislation, someone who understands what it means to fight for workers and lawful business owners, someone who wants to see our economy just power us forward. Let me now turn the microphone over to Assembly Member Lorena Gonzalez.
So it's an exciting day. We already know that we have the most kick-ass Attorney General in the nation. But while he's most known for fighting Trump, what a lot of people didn't know is he's been fighting for taxpayers here in California. So when he came to me and said we need to formalize a program that works, we already know it works. He has a actual, I mean, he just went through 3 examples where money comes back, where bad guys are put away, and quite frankly, workers are restored. We know it works, we need to formalize it, and we need to bring it here to San Diego. So today's an exciting day. We introduce AB 1296 today, put it across the desk, and it's a start to show places like San Diego and San Francisco and Fresno that he's coming for you too, if you're doing things wrong. What we have to understand about the underground economy is not just one person is hurt. Of course, in my former life as a labor leader, we think often about the workers who are hurt. And that's, you know, what I've spent most of my life doing, protecting those workers who are often not being paid. They're often having document servitude. Their documents are being taken away from them. They're almost in an indentured servitude situation. Or perhaps they are being paid something, but not enough. No workers' compensation, and that's a problem in itself. But what we often don't think about is how it hurts established businesses. So the pharmaceutical example that the Attorney General gave had a separate component as well. They were selling fake handbags at the same place. What that does, of course, designer handbags, expensive handbags. What that does is, of course, take away from legitimate sellers who have, you know, paid the right amount to sell those bags. It takes away from taxes that the state should be holding. And those pharmaceuticals that he talked about, that's a consumer protection issue right there. So this is a type of task force brought together that's effective at protecting the public, the consumers, our state as far as taxpayers, and of course the workers as well. And stopping the underground economy helps all of us in that sense. And so I'm excited to be able to carry this bill. We'll get it through and hopefully signed. and funded. Because in the long run, we'll actually get the state money for it. So with that, we'll take any questions.